Hi, I'm Jeff Murray. I want to welcome you to Healthy Marriage Tips and Restore the Family, depending upon which avenue that you're watching the material on. And I'm going to go over some of the basics of friendship and what all is required. Um, and I'm doing this because lately I've dealt with the situation where people are struggling in their relationships. They are having a hard time forming relationships and moving them forward. Now, part of me wonders if some of this goes back to the whole COVID isolation period where people basically hunkered down. And part of the trade off is that we lost some of the socializing and the interaction with other people. And even now, a couple of years into this whole thing, there's still some hesitancy to socialize and interact with people. And it has had an impact on many of you. And I wanted to go over some of the basics because with relationships, people forget that there is a balance between responsibility and liberties. And by responsibility and liberties, some people take too many liberties in their relationships. Some people don't know what the responsibilities are. They just assume, hey, if so-and-so wants to be my friend, they should be my friend, and they automatically have these expectations that things happen in the relationship that aren't appropriate for that level of relationship. You can break relationships down into several levels. There's the people you meet on the street, essentially, like acquaintances, people that we cross paths with at the office or even on the way to the office or the workplace. And, for those people, it helps to have some, I guess, what you would call basic chit chat questions, icebreakers that you can use in dealing with it. It's definitely not appropriate to talk about certain topics and take certain liberties there. Now, assuming you talk to these people, you see them several times, conversation moves on, then it starts to turn into a friendship. And at the level of friendship, there should be some common activities that the two of you engage in, and your question should be focused on activities, and you should have moved on from the chit chat onto some more significant qualities, in terms of, the directions that they are headed in life, what their goals are, what activities they enjoy engaging in, getting their opinions and ideas on things. Because you don't typically ask someone who you just met what their ideas on something were. Here, you can do that. Of course, you're going to have to be a little careful with some of the feedback. Now, over time, as you continue sharing activities and sharing some common interests, there will be a certain amount of closeness. Now, with that closeness, there is also an increased amount of trust. And it's like you give the person much more leeway and the benefit of the doubt, for lack of a better term. And things start to evolve to where you want the best for them, and they want the best for you. It's at that point that you focus on helping each person to be the best that they can be. And at that point, they're more willing to listen to your, departed suggestions. and you're in a place where you can hear, because since they have your best interest at heart, you're more willing to hear what they have to say. Uh, this is one of those things that I know as a therapist, when you do interventions, you've got to have a certain amount of trust, and the relationship has to develop to a certain level to feel like the people saying things to you really do have your best interest. They really do care about you. They're not just getting in your face and confronting you for no reason at all. Now, as the friendship develops from closeness into a level of intimacy, now there's a big difference between sex and intimacy. Uh, but intimate, that's going to be very close friends. And I find with a lot of the people I talk to nowadays, they're doing good if they have maybe 2 or 3 very close friends, if any. I mean, some people don't have any close friends outside of their spouse. And at this point, you've got that whole idea of a commitment to the relationship. You are in it for the long haul. You have proven yourself, you have been tested and passed the test. And it's typically at that point that you can be totally honest with the person and go ahead and engage in those types of conversations where you can point out their foibles, because they know that you're not doing it to be mean. You're doing it because you love them, and you're doing it because you care about them. But for that to feel safe, you've got to have that level of commitment to know that the relationship is going to be there tomorrow and the next day, even if you have disagreements. I mean, nowadays, many times people get married before their relationship has gotten to that point, and it brings about a situation where because you do some confronting and you're unsure whether they're going to be there tomorrow, whether they have that sense of commitment, you break. You have this fear that if they get upset with you, you're going to be left out in the cold. That sense of commitment is not there. Now, I know that there is much more to relationships than this. I wanted to go ahead and cover the basics because so many people out there that I've been working with lately don't even have the basics. So I wanted to go ahead and give you some foundational basics to let you know there are certain skills that you need at each level of relationship, and it's always a balance between what you can do and what you're responsible for. If you say somebody is very close to you and all you ever do is engage them in chit chat, something's wrong with that relationship. So I'm hoping this helps. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. I'll be glad to get to them. I welcome any thumbs up, support. So until next time, this is Jeff Murrah wishing you best regards. Goodbye.